Okay. Hey, hello everybody. This is Dan King from Fist Bump Media, and I'm excited to be here today as we continue our webinar series. Today, the focus of this webinar is on business strategy. We do quite a bit of work with other, small, medium-sized businesses, not only just locally in our area too, but really all around the country. We've got several businesses that we work with too, and we help them succeed with their online marketing efforts and stuff too. So today we're talking about business strategy. And this is kind of a cool one. This is one that we haven't talked a whole lot about so far, but it's something that's part of our search engine optimization services and things that we do. It plays a very big factor in search engine optimization. We'll see some of that here in a minute, but it's reputation management. So today's reputation management 101, how to get great reviews, right? So here's the deal, right? Back in the day, if you want to, find out who does something great or whatever too, you ask for recommendations. Even today, you go on Facebook, you can ask for recommendations. Hey, does anybody know a great plumber, or whatever, right? And people will start letting them know, it's like, oh, I know so-and-so and he's fantastic, tell him I sent you, all that stuff, right? Recommendations and people's word about a business, referrals like that, play a big role in decision making, right? So enter today, these days, anytime after 2000 or so, people are starting to get more information online, and we're going to look at some of these numbers here in just a moment, but really managing your reviews and what people are saying about you online can really play a big factor in making or breaking your success overall for your business. So this is a piece, as people think about, hey, I need to get better with social media. Hey, I just need to get better with search engine optimization, which this is something that plays into it a little bit and stuff too. Other factors help me with lead capture and email, build me a really pretty website. Really, this is a bigger factor than a lot of people really kind of give credit towards. So we're going to see some of that here in just a moment. So with that, we're just going to get started. We're going to jump right in. But anytime throughout this, if you're watching live, feel free to hit the chat and ask questions, whatever too. I'll try to respond to those as we can as we move it along, or I'll try to catch some up at the end if it doesn't flow naturally for us here too. But even if you're not watching live, hit us up. You can always hit us up on Twitter at Fist Bump Media. Hit us up on our Facebook page, or even just privately using the chat on our website, the chat module there. So anyway, let's just jump right in here. We're going to take a look, and the first thing I want to kind of talk about is really the impact of online reviews. Talk about how important they are. And Bright Local did a really great study, kind of digging into online reviews, how they impact people's buying decisions and all this stuff too. I got a couple numbers I want to throw at you here real quick too, but this one in particular is pretty powerful if you think about this. 86% of consumers read reviews for local businesses, and get this, including 95% of people aged 18 to 34. So even as people get younger, there's a higher and higher tendency to look at what are other people saying about this place online. And it's not even just asking, a friend, hey, do you know a good plumber or whatever? It's let me go online and see what kind of reviews they're getting. If you think about it, anytime you go to Amazon and you're looking at products, you have a tendency to kind of check out the review. How is this thing rated? Is it 3 stars, 4 stars, 5 stars? And when you're looking at that kind of stuff too, it impacts your buying decisions, right? If you see something that's rated 2 or 3 stars and stuff, you kind of tend to move on and look for something else that maybe a little bit higher rated. If you start reading some of the reviews, which, even as we point out, even getting younger people will be looking at those reviews and stuff too. But the same thing not only applies to products that you find like on Amazon, but it applies to your business, right? So just as a business overall, people are leaving reviews about that, and it's really important that we're driving good ones. Because a lot of people see that and are looking through that too. So if they're looking at you compared to somebody else, how does your review profile look online compared to your competitors? Right? Here's another really interesting stat too, and this is a good indication that if you are spending enough appropriate attention to your reviews, and you're driving really great reviews, and you've got a great review profile online, you're rocking reputation manager, right? I like this. The consumers are likely to spend 31% more on products and services from businesses that have excellent reviews, right? So here's the deal. You start getting into a space where you're not even really competing on price. It's not a, hey, am I cheaper than my competitor? Am I going to give you the best price? You know what? If you've got a really strong online review profile, you can justify charging about almost a third more than even your competitors are charging, because you've got the background and the reputation to back it up. That people are going to be happy with your stuff, right? So again, really important as you think about how and why should I be driving reviews and stuff, right? Too, but this is really only looking at consumer behavior, right? At customer behavior, right? So we know so many people are looking at these things, and we know that it can even impact the economics of your business, of what you're selling, right? And what consumers are likely to spend if you've got a really strong review profile. But what about even getting found in the first place, right? So I like to take a look at this, and this information is actually, this was from Moz, and it shows how reviews boost SEO. And actually, no, this is from Bright Local as well too. But how reviews boost SEO, or your search engine optimization, and this is one of the reasons why this is a big part for us in our SEO programs that we run for small and medium businesses, is because we know that it has an impact on the algorithms, right? One of the big popular sites for leaving reviews about a business is right on Google, right? So it makes sense that Google is going to take a look at that when people are searching for whatever your business is in whatever city you're in, right? So in my case, let's say plumbers in Sarasota. If they're searching for plumbers in Sarasota, it makes sense that Google's going to take into consideration when they're presenting and want to try to provide the best solutions for people who are visiting their site looking for answers. They're going to take the review profile into consideration. And one thing that's really interesting too is they'll put a lot of weight into Google reviews, but Google also looks at reviews from other websites and stuff too. So they'll take into consideration, say, hey, this company has 50 reviews on Google, but they got another 100 reviews over on Facebook, and this is their rating there. They got another 20 reviews over on Yelp, and this is their rating there, right? So they'll take all these things in consideration too, and even kind of present an aggregate overall. This is what your review profile looks like, right? So again, really important not to just manage reviews on just one site like Google, where it obviously will make an impact and play a factor, but even across the board in other places where people leave feedback about the companies that they do business with. But this is really fascinating because this chart, this graph, it shows the change in time in organic page visits for businesses as they begin to use reviews, right? So there's a trend that the more you focus on reviews for your business, that it impacts your search engine optimization, because we see the impact on the traffic coming into your site. So you see from month to month, there's a pretty steady increase too, where 9 months in of actively managing and working your reviews, you see a really pretty substantial increase in traffic. So that's really encouraging too, to know that even from a digital strategy perspective, it's not just about giving somebody, a potential customer, a positive outlook on what it's like to do business with your company, but even on the technical side, you can see how the search engines will start to present your information more often when you're building a great, strong review profile. Okay, so really important from a couple different perspectives here as we look at why we should be doing reviews and the impact that they have online. Got a little more I want to talk about impact here in just a minute too, but let's switch gears a little for a second, and let's talk about creating a culture of feedback. Okay, and this is really essentially what it takes in order to really focus on generating good reviews for your website. Or for your business. The first thing is to just ask, right? Actually, I'll go ahead and show this to you here real quick too, but at Fist Bump Media, we even ran a campaign where we just sent out a very simple email to all of our clients. Every one of our clients got one of these emails, and we just said, hey, how are we doing? Your feedback's important. It helps us. It helps other potential customers and stuff, so that we can learn what we're doing right, maybe where we need to improve. We just said, how are we doing, right? Please share that feedback with us now, okay? And that alone, and one of the things we did too is with that is not only did we just send that out, but we didn't blast it to every single customer at the same time, because one of the things with search engine optimization too is that what you're doing should look natural, right? It should be just kind of a natural consequence and process, and not like all of a sudden I just dumped 100 people onto Google and said, leave me a review today. That is a very unnatural spike, right? So what we did is we just separated our clients and we sent it to small groups at a time over the course of about a month and a half. So we kind of dripped that email out, eventually got out to all of our clients over the course of a month and a half, asking for feedback and information back. So that we saw a really great rise in the number of reviews that we were getting online, and it's really helped kind of even provide some nice boost for us as well too. So we got some really great content and stuff there too. But really, the first thing it's like, you have existing customers. If you have a database, if you have an email list of those customers, just let them know. It's like, hey, we just need to know how we're doing. Let us know, right? And you can kind of direct them. And I'll show you how to direct them here in just a moment. Direct them to a place where you get those reviews online, or even get negative feedback and stuff like that, opportunities for you to improve sent back to you. The second thing is, aside from just asking, is to integrate. Okay, we'll take a look at this here in a second as well too, but you need to have this kind of culture integrated into everything that you do. With Fist Bump Media, if you open a support ticket with us, if you're one of our clients, and you're working on your website and you open a support ticket with us and have some questions or whatever, when we respond to that ticket, part of our signature line will be like, let us know how we're doing. Here's a link, boom, to go leave feedback. We have clients, I'll show you in a second too, use certain tools that we have to just drop it into the email signature for every email that they do. You want this on your website, right? You want this is part of your process when you're onboarding a new client, right? Maybe a week or two after, do you send them an email similar to this? Just have an email like this queued up so that 2 weeks after a new client starts with you, they get an email just saying, hey, just want to know how we doing, right? You need to have that integrated really into all of your processes and all of your communications, right? And it doesn't have to be huge upfront. First line of every email says, please, before I say anything else, go leave me a review. But make sure it's there, right? Make sure the opportunities are there, and it's integrated, and it's very easy for people to find hey, I want to leave some feedback for you. Where do I do that? Okay, they shouldn't have to go hunt that down. You need to make it super easy. So integrate it into everything. And the third thing is ask again, right? And the reason I say ask again is because the first ask is about like go out to your clients and ask them, say we want your feedback, but also when I say ask again, what I'm talking about is, man, I was just having email conversations with a couple of clients over the last couple of days, and they told me in the emails, like, wow, you guys are so fantastic. I love doing business with you. Well, by the way, I'm going to actually specifically respond to that email and say, thanks for the great feedback. If you don't mind, click here to leave that for me somewhere else. So always be asking, right? Don't just make the big effort to go out and ask for reviews from existing clients, new clients, integrate it into the things that you do, but just make it part of your conversations. That if anybody shares anything, even if it's critical feedback, the tool I'm going to show you here in just a second even has an opportunity for people to give critical feedback of you that you can gather and help you to learn and grow. But is providing the same opportunities for anybody, regardless of their experience, to do it. So if they're sharing with you already in an email, you want to specifically reply and say, please leave your feedback for me this way, and give them a link. Okay, so doing all this, right, will help you kind of create a culture of feedback. You want your customers, your clients and stuff to know that you want to know how you're doing. Good, bad, ugly, indifferent, it doesn't matter. You want them to know that it's important to you that they let you know how you're doing. Okay. Now, ideally, if you're doing a great job, that's going to lead to some really great reviews. Okay. So let's take a look here real quick and talk about the email that we send out, and this button, this shared feedback now button. Other places we have this, when I have something in my signature line saying, hey, how we doing? Let us know. What we do is we use a tool on our end too, and then this is something we offer to our clients. And if you're interested in it, if we're working a small business and you want to do something like this, let us know. It's not a super expensive tool. In fact, setting this piece up by itself, we can run for I think right about $89, less than $100 a month. But it's a fantastic tool to help you really kind of create this culture of feedback and stuff. But we've already talked about the impact that it can have on your business too. So it's really a pretty inexpensive investment to really kind of start getting serious about reviews. But this tool is basically what it does is it'll give you a link, something like this, and there's some customizations and stuff you can do with this. So this is a basic one that you're looking at. It just says, hey, let us know, how are we doing? Okay, and when you do that, they can click on 1 star, 2 stars, 3 stars, 4 stars, starting to get happy, right? And 5 stars. Okay, so as they click on one of those stars, I'll show you more detail here in just a moment, but it'll lead them down the proper experience, basically, for how you want to try to gather that feedback. Okay, so let's actually take a look at this tool too, and you see this even integrated. One of the flip sides of this tool integrated onto my website, right, onto the Fist Bump Media website, where we start also pulling those testimonials and stuff. You see them coming in from Google and from Facebook and stuff like that too, pulling those testimonials and the stars and everything too into a little widget on my website. So now we can even start to kind of show other clients and stuff too. One way I can even ramp this up a little bit too is not only have a spot for my reviews, but drop my button on there too, saying, hey, you want to leave us some feedback? Let us know right here. Boom, right? So I can even kind of train my clients to know that, hey, look for where the feedback is, and you can click on that to read the feedback. But it's a really pretty great tool to not only help you gather, but also to display the feedback that you're getting. All right, so this is the back end of the tool we're using, and and like I said, we can run this for businesses just as a one-off service and everything too. And this is exactly what you would have access to yourself. We help kind of manage it as well too, but you would have access to this dashboard and can look at some of the things I'm about to show you and stuff too. But it's also included in some of our packaged SEO plans. Where we do a few things, from month to month and stuff too. So if you have a certain level of search engine optimization service with us, you're actually going to get this. It's just included in there because it's such a core integral part of what we believe needs to be done, especially for local business search engine optimization. So anyway, you can set this up. Basically, drop your logo in there. We add your links and stuff like that too, and you see right now for review site listings, for mine I've got Google, Facebook, and Yelp all tagged in there and stuff too. So let's take a look at kind of how this works. Talk about, you can the user can rate anywhere from 1 to 3 stars. So say if I click on this 5 stars here, it's going to pop up and say, oh, thank you so much. Would you mind taking your 5-star feedback and clicking here, right? And all they got to do is click on it. It's going to take them right exactly to where they need to go to leave a review on Google for us, right? Or go to Facebook or go to Yelp. And, there's a bunch of different directories and stuff that if your business has a listing on them and stuff, if you're in the Better Business Bureau or if you're on Who's or, any of these other online directory type sites, where people can leave reviews, we can add all those buttons and links and stuff in here too. And one thing that's really cool about this is that if there's one in particular that you want to focus on, for example, I was just talking to one business owner here not too long ago and they said, hey, we want to drive more towards Yelp, right? We can feature that one that's more important to you and say, go leave us a review. So all the other links are there too, but really kind of call out the one that you want people to drive more people to, right? So that makes it a little bit more likely that that's going to get clicked. So if they have an account on Yelp and do reviews there, then that's a good deal. Now, the other side of this too is what that does is if you click 4 or 5 stars, it does that. But what if somebody clicks on 1 or 2 stars? It'll pop up. Instead of saying go to Google to leave me a review, it says, hey, we really strive for 100% satisfaction. Let us know what we could have done to make this a better experience for you, right? So ask for their name, their email address are required fields too, and a message, so they can dump it all out there and stuff, right? So the cool thing about this tool is that instead of sending somebody a link saying, hey, tell us how we did, and it's to the review site, but they're mad at you for some reason, they leave you a 1-star review on Google, which can hurt you, right? You're still giving them the opportunity to dump and vent and do whatever they want. They gave you a 1-star and they're telling you exactly why. They can speak their mind and put it all out there too. But this, instead of putting on the public review websites, we'll send that email back to you. So typically we've got this set so that anything 1 to 3 stars, we consider that needs some work, right? So 1 to 3 stars, we'll send you that feedback. 4 and 5 stars, you can get the prompt to go to a review site and leave the reviews out there too. So this is one of the ways we really try to strive to drive positive reviews for you on the review websites, because those are the ones that are going to have the greatest impact and stuff too. So really, really fantastic tool to be able to drive that. So that's the link. Like I said, that's the link. You get this page that you put everywhere. You put the link to this page in your email signatures. You put it in your emails, on your website, on your social media accounts, whatever. Whatever you want to do. That's what you do, and that's how you drive that. With that, here's some of the ways that you can share that. Okay, so for example, very much like this page, it's basically a landing page, but it's a landing page on a separate link off the website and stuff too. You can get the code and drop this into a standalone page or even a page with other information on it, stuff too. But you can kind of create your own landing page on your own website that has that widget in it. You've got some email signature snippets, right? So you can drop something like this, big stars, small stars, or you can even change it up and say, I want to do buttons, I want to do smiley faces, whatever it is you want to do. Thumbs, all that, whatever. There's a few different options there too. But drop that into your email signature, right, below your name, your company, and stuff like that. Drop that in there too. So on every email you send, you just kind of copy that to clipboard, paste it into your email signature, and rock and roll. There's even things too where you can even copy code on, and drop that in a little button on your website. And QR codes, right? So maybe you have a business card, and yes, QR codes are still a thing. In fact, they're actually regaining more popularity these days and stuff too. But you've got a pre-made QR code that you can put, even on a sticker on your on your window if you're a brick and mortar business, or put it on your business card or something like that too, where people can scan that real quick with their phone, and then boom, they're right on the site where they get this page, and they can walk through that review process and stuff. So a few different ways you can really integrate it into everything you do. Again, there's tools right here that we've got built that integrated into your website, into your email, into other things where people can scan with their phone, whatever it is. This integrate everywhere, and we've got the tools and the widgets to be able to do that. And you can even play around and experiment and change that up and stuff too. Change it to, give me thumbs up or thumbs down or something like that, or whatever if you want, right? But yeah, feel free to use different options there. Next thing is as these reviews come in, right? We can get all the feedbacks. So we've got tabs here to look at reviews, customer feedbacks. The whole stream and stuff. The stream is basically the tool that I showed you, where we can set up this kind of widget stuff and get a stream for the types of feedback and stuff that we want to display. Drop that on our website. But you'll get a notification each day from anytime there's new reviews on any of the platforms you're connected with, your Google, your Facebook, your Yelp, or wherever. You'll get a full stream of all of those reviews in one place. And then from here too, we even look at ways, you can go view it on Google or view it on Facebook, and you can set a response here too, right? So you can respond to the review, make notes and say, hey, this needs some attention, this is resolved, and make notes and stuff on it. So whatever it is you want to do, you can manage that stuff here too. And I really recommend responding to every review, even if it's just throwing out a quick, hey, thanks, appreciate the feedback, it's great working with you. Whatever it is, you can do that. You can even sort and organize and tag these things and stuff too. If you're getting enough of them that you want to try to do some kind of reporting and stuff like that with them, you can do that and tag them as this is this type of client, that type of client, or whatever. That's completely up to you. And I really dig this piece too. This share option, and I've got this set up with Fist Bump Media right now too, that when new reviews come in, that will automatically tweet, send out on Twitter, and you can send it to Facebook if you want to, a blip of that review, right? Again, this kind of leans towards that whole kind of creating the culture of feedback and stuff too, right? Is even as existing clients may see some of the stuff on social media, it may make them go, oh, that's a great idea, I would love to do that, right? So you see here's a tweet from a recent review, and it's just formatted to say, hey, new 5-star review, a portion of the quote that fits in the tweet, and it's got this cool little image that goes with it as well too, showing I got the 5 stars and a blip of the review there and stuff. So pretty cool little tool there to help you kind of sort through that and share that information, share it with the world. Okay. And then this is the last thing in the tool that I'm going to show you here real quick too. There's a few other pieces, but this is kind of a big deal, and we've got this set up, and we do this with our clients as well, who use this tool. Is to generate a report, right? So give me just, even aside from understanding all the reviews that are out there, get me a monthly report showing how we are trending with reviews. So this is just a basic report overview here and stuff too. And you get more details in your email and everything too. But it shows you, how many reviews you got, what your overall average rating is, and again, that's looking at across all of the sites, and shows you kind of where your star breakdown is. Review activity, you can see, as changes. Got so many reviews these days, and so you can see the growth in the number of reviews you're getting, where you're getting them. You get some on Google and some on Facebook. Give you a little funnel activity and stuff too. Showing your positive feedback rate. And kind of how many people are visiting the page. How many are doing a rating and clicking through and actually leaving a review. All that stuff, right? So you can kind of see the funnel and the flow for that too. But this is kind of a cool thing too, because it even give you a little bit of an overview of any negative and positive reviews, and kind of a word cloud of the stuff that people are saying, right? I love to see things in here too, like service and team, as big words. Great, obviously, it speaks to the quality and stuff, right? I'll tell you, I could tell you, my name is there big too, but I love seeing the word team in there too, because it's people recognizing not only this is just Dan over here at Fist Bump Media, but the team is doing a great job. So pretty cool. Generate some monthly reports and stuff to kind of keep you up to date with how it's going, right? And if you see that stop climbing there and stuff too, it might be an indication. It's like, ooh, we need to do some stuff to ramp things up. We need to go out and ask more. How are we integrated? Do we need to get integrated or make some changes there and stuff too? But a great report to help you kind of monitor your progress over time as you're working on getting reviews. Okay. All right. Next thing is, I told you I'd jump back to this too, talking about the impact of online reviews. And as you get reviews, using the methods that we're working on and talking about here too, right? Typically, your negative feedback and stuff is going to come back to you instead of on the review sites. But that doesn't mean that somebody's not going to go out there and leave you a negative review on the websites. And this is kind of a big deal, right? And this is also, again, from that study from Bright Local that says, a negative review can drive away 40% of potential customers, right? You think about what some of the negative reviews say, online can tell you a lot about how a company does business, okay? But at the same time, right, it's not 100%. Right. And part of the reason I think this is not 100%, and really negative reviews do not drive away 60% of potential customers, right? Is because I think part of the equation there is seeing how a business responds to the negative feedback and stuff that goes out there. And so here's the thing, a negative review is not the end of the world. It's not great. And in fact, it might even help a little bit too, because I've seen some data and some studies too that show people don't trust the company with a 5.0 review on anything and stuff too. It's just too good. It's too good to be true, right? So to have a 4.9 or even a 4.7 or something like that too, meaning you got some feedback that dipped down a little bit below perfect, means that people are being real about doing business with you, right? So even if it's a 1 or 2 star review, and it's a pretty critical piece of feedback, that you're getting on a review site, the best thing you can do is respond, right? I think you should be responding to every review that you get in, but in particular, negative reviews give you an opportunity to show how great you are at customer service, okay? So somebody goes out there, they're mad about something, right? I want to give you a few do's and don'ts, and this information comes from Moz. But don't go out, don't go back and blame the customer. Don't shift blame to your staff and say, "Oh, we're sorry, but so and so was kind of an idiot, and we're going to deal with him, whatever." Don't start playing the blame game. Don't accuse the customer of lying or exaggerating. Don't refuse to apologize. Don't refuse to be accountable, right? You see these things too, and really what this gets down to is don't use this as an opportunity because somebody's attacking you to attack back, right? The best things to do, and again, worth noting here as well too, before I talk about the things to do, is don't respond to reviews alleging illegal behavior. Seek legal counsel if this occurs, right? If there's legal repercussions and stuff for implications within it. Best thing at that point is maybe just don't respond yet. Talk to maybe your lawyer or whatever and stuff first. But really, that's a very small majority of the reviews that probably come online and stuff too. A lot of them are probably just upset or frustrated or hurt. Maybe they didn't get the attention they felt they deserved or whatever too. Best thing to do is not kind of shift blame or accuse or refuse to be accountable stuff. Here's what you should do. Okay. Apologize sincerely, empathize, understand where they're coming from, right? Accept complete responsibility as the owner of the business. It falls on you. The buck stops here, right? Offer something that might make amends, right? Express your commitment to fix issues, right? Be as transparent and honest as possible about the cause of the mistake. Let the customer know you eagerly invite further in-person complaints, right? You don't want to start getting into this going back and forth and stuff too. Maybe it's hey, I'd love to talk to you, give us a call, or, if you know who it is, let them know. It's like, I'll try to call you. I would love to talk about this, or, come back in sometime. And when you do, let me, the owner or the manager or whatever, know. And I'd love to just kind of sit down and hash this out with you and stuff too. Whatever that looks like, invite further offline discussion. And then keep it brief, right? Brief but sincere. You don't want to respond by writing a book. Because if you think about it, part of it is not only to diffuse one-on-one whatever's happening with that one customer who's leaving the bad review, but you also don't want to leave a book there for another third party who's looking at the reviews to evaluate you to have to sit there and read your dissertation on why this wasn't your fault. So just keep it quick, own up to it, commit to fixing. And say, let's deal with this, right? So it's an opportunity, like I said, to show what good customer service really looks like to other people that are out there, and be sincere about it, right? You want to do this to help try to correct something with a customer, right? But also the dual motive is you want to show other people how good you are at dealing with issues with your customers when they arise. Because here's the thing, I think people are realistic. They don't ever expect everything to be perfect all the time, but I think there's grace there with a lot of people. But you need to show that you're making the effort and you're doing the right things, and that when something does go south for whatever reason, if it's them on the other side, that they know that you're going to be committed to helping them get through that, right, and helping make that right. Okay, so those are really important tips on how to deal with negative reviews when you get those online. Okay. The next thing I want to talk about too is because reputation management isn't just about managing reviews. That's a big part of it. Okay, but there's this other kind of element to reputation management that really has to do with brand monitoring. And that really kind of consists of three things. When I look at brand monitoring, and I'm working with our clients on how we do any kind of brand monitoring and stuff, there are three things I look at. One, I look at for any mentions of your company or your brand, right? So you're Joe's Plumber in Sarasota, Florida, stuff too. I want to put out monitoring tools saying anytime somewhere Joe's Plumbing Service in Sarasota is mentioned, whether it's mentioned in a tweet on Twitter, whether it's mentioned on another website, a review website, any of the stuff, right? No matter where it is, we can set up alerts and monitoring tools that pick up and say, ooh, Joe's Plumbing was just mentioned somewhere. Let us know where that is, right? So that'll give you some really great understanding and impact of how your company is being talked about elsewhere. Now, this is not always a big thing, right? Especially if you're small local business. It's not like, Nike did something. So somebody, all these people wrote blog posts about what Nike did, and that may not happen to you, but it's good to always be aware of if and when your company or your brand is being mentioned somewhere online. You want to know about it, right? Because if you don't know about it, there's nothing you can do about it. It may be a great mention, it may be a bad mention, it doesn't matter. You want to know so that you can respond accordingly, okay? Also, when we do brand monitoring, I like to set up monitors for some of your competitors' mentions, right? I do this with Fist Bump Media even too, and I look at some of our competitors for maybe people who are in the local small business SEO space in our area or whatever and stuff too, and I look at for mentions about them, right? So I want to get notified if something pops up about them in the press or on Twitter or something like that, because it's going to tell me a lot about how people are talking about them, just as much as how I understand how people are talking about me. We're going to talk about why and how you use this information here in just a minute too. But then I also set up alerts and monitors for some of my main keywords, right? So for example, one of the big things we do too is WordPress hosting for websites. So I want to monitor WordPress hosting, okay? Anytime WordPress hosting pops up, that might get a lot more mentions than something like my brand name, but it's going to give me some clues and some indication of how people are talking about WordPress hosting services and companies on the web, which, let me jump to the next slide, how we use this information, okay? So between all of those things, whether it's your, monitoring your own brand mentions, your competitors' brand mentions, or even some of your big keywords or main product kind of categories and stuff, some of the things this information will do for you when you're monitoring brand mentions is that it'll help you discover best practices. There may be some things too that you find when you're monitoring your competitors that they're doing is like, oh, well, they're actually making an effort to get their name out there in this way. And I can see the impact that it's having, right? So, and if I'm not doing that, then we're not playing on a level playing field. They're much farther ahead than me with getting their name and managing their brand, right? Better than I am. So I may kind of discover some best practices and some things that I might want to try to start doing in order to get my brand and my company noticed more. You're going to get customer insights, right? So anywhere, maybe it's your name or your competitors, or even some of the product kind of keyword topics and stuff too. If you start kind of getting some insights into how customers actually think, right? If there's somebody out there and they're not writing about your company, but they're writing about the kinds of services that you do, maybe you're writing a blog post of reviewing WordPress hosting companies, for example. That may tell me some great information about the kinds of things that they're looking for, right? What are some of the things they're looking for? So how do I need to make sure I'm talking about my brand online too? So you can see this is even starting to kind of get into some space where it can impact my entire content strategy, right? How I build my website, the blog posts that I write for myself. For Fist Bump Media, maybe things that we do webinars on and stuff, right? So it really starts to shape a lot of my digital strategy. It's not just knowing, oh, this is how people are talking. It can shape my strategy. The third thing is here too, is it might even help you find influencers. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the big time influencer. Hey, how do we get Justin Bieber to mention Joe's Plumbing, and then all of a sudden we're going to go crazy and we're going to be rock stars. We're going to, retire as gazillionaires and stuff because Justin Bieber, a big influencer, mentioned my plumbing company, right? I'm not a huge fan of that too, but there are people who have a great deal of influence, right? Maybe there are people who are talking about local businesses in your area, if you can find those people through your brand monitoring, because maybe they talked about a competitor, maybe they talked about services that you do, and you notice they're in the same geographic area. You do these things, and you can find these kinds of influencers and stuff too, and connect with them and develop your own relationship with them too, and maybe get some mentions of yourself by these people as well too. And then the fourth thing that you can do when you're monitoring your brand mentions too is discover new trends. Okay, and this is really important as well too. And this is different than best practices, but when you're monitoring this information over time, you'll start to see things where, like, hey, I see people talking about this and concerned about this idea and stuff on a regular basis. Oh wait, this is new. Okay, maybe there's new technologies related to your business and what you do that people are talking about more. We work with a lot of writers and bloggers too, right? So as I'm monitoring blogging best practices and stuff too, maybe I start to notice new trend, like more people are starting to talk about podcasting. So maybe I need to start kind of getting in that mix and stuff too as well. And so you can see how that can apply really to just about any type of business and stuff. Whereas as you're monitoring that information, you start to spot trends where maybe there's a wave there, and the data is going to tell you, right? What are some of the things you need to be talking about and stuff. I always say follow what the data says, and that's a great opportunity to do it. It's like, oh, should I start talking about such and such? Well, I don't know. What are the trends saying? What are people actually talking about? And this is one of the sources of that information. Again, all these four things too, they really greatly influence your whole digital strategy from what you're doing with your website development, what you're doing from a content development perspective with like blog content, things like that on your website. It impacts what you're doing on social media. Really, it shapes your whole the digital strategy for how you want to communicate your brand and what you're all about out there. Here's the bottom line: you control that a great deal. It's not just about, oh, so and so left a bad review for me. You control the dialogue, what's being said, how you respond to it, even if bad things are being said, right? When we're talking about negative reviews, you decide how that negative review plays out online because of how you respond to it. So that's why I think a lot of the stuff that we're talking about here, with reputation management, it's not just getting great reviews, but it's really truly reputation management. Okay. And this is a big deal. This is a really big deal for businesses, for customers, finding potential customers and stuff too. And I think you've seen in some of the data too that when we talk about the impact of that, how much of an impact it can have on driving overall success for your business. I would argue that if you are not investing in reputation management for your business, whether it's the monitoring the reviews like we talk about and getting that done, and then some of the brand monitoring as well too, and letting that guide a lot of your ongoing content, social media strategy, you're missing it, right? Let this be a core piece of what you do, and then watch it. Watch how that impacts what you're doing over the next 6-9 months, maybe even a year, and you should see some really great steady increases. I could tell you I've been seeing great increases. The more we focus on driving reviews and ratings and stuff like that for what we're doing online too, I'm seeing great increases in rankings for some of our key terms. That's the only thing I can really account it to is the fact that we've been really monitoring and working our reputation online for that space. So let this sit and let us know if there's anything that we can do to help you. Like I said, would love to set you up with our review management tool and stuff, and maybe talk about some brand monitoring and how we can work that with you. And maybe this fits into a piece of your SEO strategy, or maybe you just want to focus just on this and not even necessarily SEO in particular and stuff too. We certainly talk about that and help you out with that too. Hit us up anytime. I'm always available, Dan at fistbumpmedia.com. Hit us up on Twitter, Facebook, chat on our website. Happy to help you build your reputation online to find much greater success for your business. With that, I just want to drop you a fist bump, boom, say thanks, and have an awesome day.